What if your enemy wasn't one beast, but hundreds attacking at once, and hidden where you couldn't reach them? The sixth labor was an impossible task. King Eurystheus had watched Hercules defeat monsters through strength and intelligence. Now he would send the hero against an enemy that was everywhere and nowhere at once. Eurystheus commanded Hercules to travel to Lake Stymphalus in Arcadia and drive away the Stymphalian birds. These creatures were like no other bird in existence. They were monstrous birds sacred to Ares, the god of war. Their beaks were sharp as iron blades. Their feathers were made of bronze, and they could launch them through the air like deadly arrows. The birds lived in massive flocks around the dark marshes of the lake. They had terrorized the region for years, attacking anyone who came near. Even our hero wasn't afraid of any beast, not even their numbers or the fact they attacked in flocks. The impossible task became more impossible because of the terrain. The marshland was too soft to walk on, and the birds stayed hidden deep in the dense reeds. How do you fight hundreds of enemies in an environment where you can't even reach them? Before Hercules set out for Lake Stymphalus, he received an unexpected visit. The goddess Athena came to him with a gift. Athena was the daughter of Zeus, born from his head fully armed and wise. She was the goddess of wisdom, strategy, and warfare. She was also a protector of heroes, especially those favored by her father Zeus. And Hercules, as Zeus's son, had earned her divine protection. This wasn't random kindness. While Hera, Zeus's wife, had persecuted Hercules his entire life, Athena now stepped forward to balance that hostility. She understood that Zeus wanted his son to achieve immortality, and she would help make that destiny possible. For this labor, Athena knew that strength alone would fail. The Stymphalian birds couldn't be fought with muscle or courage. They needed to be outsmarted. From beneath her cloak, she drew a pair of bronze instruments and placed them in his hands. The krotala. They had been forged in the divine smithy of Hephaestus, god of fire and metalwork. Hephaestus, son of Zeus, the craftsman whose hammer had shaped the thunderbolts of the gods and the legendary weapons that decided the fate of heroes. Athena said nothing as she gave the gift. But Hercules understood what her presence meant. The goddess believed in him. She was offering him help, a chance when there seemed to be none. Still, she did not explain how to use the krotala. She left him to understand their purpose on his own. This was not a guaranteed victory, only an opportunity. Hercules would still need to figure out how to use them, when to act, and how to turn that chance. Before him stretched an endless swamp of dark water, thick mud, and towering reeds that blocked any view of what lay beyond. He could hear them, the rustling of bronze feathers, the occasional screech echoing from deep within the marsh. The Stymphalian birds were there, hidden somewhere in that impenetrable wilderness. Hercules tested the ground with his foot. It gave way immediately, soft as quicksand. One step into that swamp, and he would sink into the mire. The birds had chosen their territory perfectly. They were safe in the depths of the marsh, protected by terrain that no man could cross. Even if he somehow managed to wade through the mud without drowning, the reeds were so dense he wouldn't see the birds until they were already attacking. And there were hundreds of them. Hercules looked down at the bronze krotala in his hands. He studied the landscape. The marsh stretched wide, But there was higher ground nearby, a rocky rise that overlooked the swamp. From there, he would have a clear view of the reeds below. Hercules climbed to the top of the rise and stood above the marshland. The wind carried the stench of the birds' nests and the sound of their movements through the reeds. He gripped the krotala tightly, one in each hand. Then he raised them high and clashed them together with all his strength. The sound exploded across the valley like thunder. The bronze instruments rang out with a terrible metallic shriek that echoed off the mountains and rolled across the water. Again and again, Hercules struck the krotala together, creating a noise so loud and unnatural it seemed to shake the very air. The effect was immediate. The birds burst from the reeds in a storm of bronze wings, rising into the sky in fury. Hundreds of them darkened the air above the swamp. For the first time, Hercules could see the enemy he was facing. Now Hercules understood the gift Athena had given him. She had given him the chance to hunt them. He reached for his bow and drew an arrow from his quiver. These weren't ordinary arrows. In his second labor, Hercules had killed the Hydra, a monstrous serpent with poison flowing through its veins. After the beast fell, Hercules dipped his arrows in its blood, turning them into lethal weapons. Nothing struck by this poison survived. He aimed at the first bird and released. The arrow struck true, and the creature dropped from the sky. Hercules pulled another arrow, aimed and shot. Another bird fell. Again and again, he fired without stopping. His aim never missed. Every shot brought another bronze-winged monster crashing down into the marsh below. The sky filled with falling creatures as arrow after arrow found its mark. The birds launched their bronze feathers in defense, but it was pointless. They were being hunted down. Panic spread through the flock. The remaining birds realized they were facing certain death if they stayed. There was only one thing they could do: escape. They scattered in all directions, fleeing across the mountains to survive. They would never return to Arcadia. The marsh fell silent. The Stymphalian birds were gone. The sixth labor was complete. Hercules returned to Mycenae carrying proof of his victory, the bodies of the Stymphalian birds he had shot down. The help from Athena had given him more than just a tool. It had given him a lesson. Strategy and wisdom could accomplish what strength alone never could. The goddess had shown him that even impossible odds could be beaten with the right approach. He felt stronger than ever. He laid the dead birds before King Eurystheus. The king stared at the bronze-winged creatures. His face showed no celebration, no acknowledgement, just the unsettled look of a man watching his plans fail again and again. Eurystheus accepted the sixth labor without a word. Then, almost immediately, he gave the next command. His seventh labor was to fetch the bull of Crete. Hit that subscribe button. The seventh labor is about to begin. Trust me, you've never heard the story of the Cretan bull told like this before.